Hola clase, hoy vamos a hacer el alfabeto y los números. La cantante que escuchamos am, se llama Susie Tallman y la canción se llama El Alfabeto. Pero primero vamos a practicar las capitales. Let's see how good your memory is. ¿Cuál es la capital de Costa Rica? San José. La capital de Puerto Rico. San Juan, y la capital de México, la Ciudad de México. So a really good trick that I learned to remember the difference between San Jose y San Juan is that the O in Costa Rica matches with Jose and the U in Puerto matches with Juan. So that might be an easy way to differentiate between los dos, between the two of them. La capital de Paraguay, Asunción. Ecuador, Quito. Nicaragua, Managua. So remember, the best way to learn anything is through repetition. And so hopefully, we'll be able to repeat a couple things throughout our lessons. But vamos a comenzar. So if you guys have your cheat sheet, basically what you have is all the letters in el alfabeto. And on the line, what I want you to do is write how it sounds phonetically. So you guys can see I have the phonetics underneath the letter. So it would be A, B, C, Ch, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, y Z. One of the accent marks will be introduced today is the tilde. So that's like the little toupee that you see over the N. And it does make a big difference. So a lot of times my students will ask me if accent marks make a difference. And it really does. It counts as part of the spelling in Spanish. And so I always give this example because it really sticks with people. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the word años, A-N-O-S, with the tilde, right? And that means years. If you get rid of the tilde over the N and say anos, right? It means anuses. So obviously, accent marks can make a huge difference in the meaning of a word, and you definitely want to be clear when talking about certain things. So, another recommendation. So, R. Sometimes it's not natural for people to be able to roll their R's, and I wasn't able to always do that either, but with a lot of practice and repetition, I was able to do that. So my professor in college told us to say the word ladder like 5 or 6 times, and then try to say like the word perro. So the reason is that ladder puts your tongue in the same position as you would need it to be to say R, right? That up and down motion. So go ahead and give it a try. Say ladder like 5 or 6 times and then try to say perro. So ladder, 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 perro. Ladder, 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 R, right? So it's a good way to loosen up your tongue. If it doesn't work for you, no worries. Lots of practice. I think I was like 7 years in until I was able to roll my R's, and I think a little bit of rum helped in Puerto Rico. And once I rolled my R's, I never looked back. So I'm not suggesting that alcohol always works, but sometimes it loosens your inhibitions. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to spell a word for you in Espanol, and you guys can see on the right hand side of your paper I put 1, 2, and 3. And so for example, if I said the letter de, you would write D. And I'm going to spell out a word for you. So just keep in mind, you have learned English your whole life, and so you have, that set in your memory. So little things that are confusing with el alfabeto is that A, B, C, D, E. E is pronounced like A. So it's definitely going to take some time for your mind to transition. I in Spanish is pronounced like E. Right? So again, be patient with yourself. Your brain has been trained a certain way for a really long time, and so it takes a long time to differentiate between those things. So I'm going to spell a word for you, and then we'll check to see how you did. So you guys can use that number on the right-hand side of your cheat sheet. And I will spell the word twice, so if you don't get it the first time, you can definitely try again the second time. Te, a, pe, a, esse. Te, a, pe, a, esse. So let's check to see how you did, right? Te, a, pe, a, esse. So the word is tapas, and that's actually something we're going to be doing in the next module is talking about tapas. And tapas are something that's really traditional to Spain. And so for every round of drinks you order, you get a tapa. And so that could be numerous different things, but I look forward to talking about it more with you the next in the next module. So número dos, the next word. G, U, A, Y. G, U, A, Y. So let's check to see how you did. And if you're struggling, it's completely normal. You're introducing something for the first time to your brain. So you have to be patient and know that it takes a little bit of repetition and practice. So G, U, A, Y. Guay. So guay in Spanish means cool. And this is actually something that's really specific to Spain as well. They use guay. In Mexico, they use chulo. They use chévere. So just like we have numerous different ways to say cool, it's the same in Spanish as well. All right, so número tres. S, I, A, S, te, a. S, I, A, S, te, a. So vamos a ver. Let's see. S, I, A, S, te, a. Siesta. If you're not sure what a siesta is, it's a nap, and that's something also that is really common in Spain and also other Latin America cultures as well, which we'll be getting into in the next chapter. So again, if you struggled, that's completely normal. It takes a while for your brain to adjust to new sounds. So the more you expose yourself to something, the easier it'll get. So vamos a continuar con los números. So I'm sure you guys, I'd be really surprised if you've never heard like 1 through 10 before. And I think I'm missing 0. So for 0, it's cero, C-E-R-O. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So here I am actually missing my accento. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 40. So if you do have a past experience with Spanish, you might be familiar with a different way to spell 16, 17 with a Y in between instead of an I. It depends on what country you go to, but in this book, this is the form that they use. So it's really important that you use that when you're doing the online programs. Otherwise, it'll mark you wrong. Same thing for the 20s. When I grew up learning Spanish, there was a Y that connected 20 y uno, just kind of how you see it with 30 y uno over here. But this book's used the I to connect them, but it's the only one that does that. After the 20s, it's 30 y uno, like you see here on the screen, and then it would be 40, 40 y uno. So obviously knowing 1 through 9 is really helpful when you learn Spanish, because once you know that, like if you learn 30, it's 31, 32, 33. So vamos a practicar un poquito. And I think you guys have on your sheet, a lot of times when you're talking about how many there are of things, you use the word I. So H-A-Y. So remember in Spanish, the H is silent. So you would say I means there is or there are. It can mean either one of those depending on the context. So vamos a practicar. So a lot of times if someone asked you, ¿Hay cuántos libros? Right? And cuántos means how many. And it has to agree with the noun you're talking about. So that's why it's O here and O here. So how many books are there? Hay 10 libros. There are 10 books. ¿Hay cuántos gatos? How many cats are there? Hay 10 gatos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this little gatito is kind of hiding inside this gato. Vamos a ver. So, ¿hay cuántos elefantes? Hay 6 elefantes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to go through more questions. And you guys have these questions on your papel, on your paper. ¿Hay cuántos países hispanohablantes en América del Sur? So how many Spanish-speaking countries are there in South America? 9, 5, 13, or 15? Hay 9 países hispanohablantes. So remember, hispanohablantes means Spanish-speaking. Países means countries. ¿Qué porcentaje del mundo habla inglés? So this is a question you had earlier with your lesson about the Spanish-speaking world. Hay 28%, 20%, 35%, or 15%. Hay 20% del mundo que habla inglés. ¿Hay cuántos países hispanohablantes en América Central? How many Spanish-speaking countries are there in Central America? 9, 5, 6, or 11? Hay 6 países hispanohablantes en América Central. Panama, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, San Salvador, Guatemala. So, México no es parte de América Central. ¿Hay cuántos países hispanohablantes en América del Norte? 3, 2, 6, or 1. So, 2. Officially, solamente Mexico, right? Because Mexico is an official Spanish-speaking country. But because we have 41 million Spanish speakers in Los Estados Unidos, I'm going to say there's 2 Spanish-speaking countries in América del Norte. So, just a reminder that Mexico no es parte de América Central, pero es parte de América del Norte. Vamos a continuar. ¿Hay cuántos países hispanohablantes en el mundo? How many Spanish-speaking countries are there in the world? 13, 21, 16, or 15? Oficiales, hay 21 países hispanohablantes en el mundo. So there's 21 official Spanish-speaking countries. No estoy incluyendo los Estados Unidos. So in this one, I'm not including the United States. I'm doing official Spanish-speaking countries. So just to see how well you can do, right? And I don't expect you to know these answers. It's just for practice. ¿Hay cuántos vasos en un galón? So how many glasses are in a gallon? 10, 12, 16, o 14? Hay 16 vasos en un galón. ¿Necesita cuántos galones de agua para un aguacate? So how many gallons of water do you need to grow an aguacate? 19, 4, 15 or 11? La respuesta es 19. So the answer is 19. So just to give you an example, un avocado, right, takes 19 gallons of water just for one. And so there's some other frutas here. You have the tomate and then naranja también. So this is one of the reasons, first of all, the avocados are so expensive. The consumption of avocados over the last 10 years has gone up 400%. And because we're eating lots more guacamole than we used to. But also one of the other issues is guacamoles grow, or avocados grow in California, Mexico, and that part of the world, and they're experiencing droughts pretty frequently. So if it takes 19 gallons of water, obviously that's a lot of water. And you can see the word aguacate, the word agua, which means water, is right in the word. So that's another reason. So it's also why they're so expensive, but that in the future maybe they won't exist because it takes so much water to grow them. And in Mexico, they've come across quite a problem. So not only has the consumption and demand of avocados gone up, it's more difficult because of drought. So gangs have taken advantage of this, and they actually call avocados green gold, right? So it's really interesting to think about this concepto. So the next time you eat an aguacate, know how much water that it takes just to grow one of them. So let them not go to waste. ¿Hay cuántos estados en Mexico? So just like the United States, los Estados Unidos, Mexico is made up of numerous different states. ¿Hay 22, 14, 10 or 31? Hay 31 estados. ¿Hay cuántos días en marzo? How many days are in March? Well, you didn't have to try really hard for this one because it's already highlighted for you. So hay 31 días en marzo. ¿Hay cuántas semanas en un semestre? How many weeks are in a semestre? Normalmente, like if you were in the fall or spring semester, normalmente hay 15 semanas en un semestre. So that concludes our lección hoy. So nos vemos pronto y que tenga buen día.